Hello everyone, thanks for coming outside with me today. Today I would like to go over...
actually outside.
Hello everyone, thanks for coming outside with me today. Today I would like to look over my DIY sit drag saddle setup that I've added to my arsenal this year. I'm still going to use my climber, I'm still going to use my XOP Vanish stand. Those have been great additions over the years, but I'm really excited about this saddle for a couple reasons. First, I want to go through all the pieces and components that I've used to put this saddle together, and then why I've added this specifically for my setup this year. So anything you can see on camera right now that is green rope is 8mm accessory cord. I've used that for my Prusik, and I've also used that for my bridge. A lot of people like using AM steel, but 8mm accessory cord is plenty strong, bunch of tensile strength. I'm not worried about it breaking or having a failure of any sort. It still moves just fine through the carabiner. I can still twist and turn and make around the shot, so I'm not worried about using tubular webbing or AM steel like some other people. The meat and potatoes of this system is 11mm static line. It is blue water static line, rated at several dozen kilonewtons, several thousand pounds of strength. It's going to definitely hold my weight while I'm up here in the stand. I have it also attached not only to the Prusik, which attaches to the carabiner, which goes to the bridge, but I also have it left long enough that I can attach it to a secondary Prusik, which goes to the belay loop of my rock climbing harness, which I'll get to in a little bit. The saddle itself is an Easy Hunter sit drag, and I'll put links to everything in the description below, but I've simply modified it. I put a foam pad inside, like the little knee pad you could get for gardening, like at Walmart or Lowe's or something like that, just to give me a little bit more cushion on the backside. I left my bridge pretty long, and I've allowed the loops to come up pretty high. I'm a bigger guy, I'm a little bit wider than some, so that helps with the hip pinch, and I'm still fiddling around with the exact tether height that I like, or bridge height that I like. Right now, around eyeball height when I'm leaning into the tree, it seems to be about perfect. I also added some extra static line into the loops, and I stitched them up with a little bit of hockey tape just to give them a little bit more resilience, and they always find the center point of the saddle system, so that way it's not kind of twisted off to one side when I'm getting set up in the tree in the dark. The knots I've used to attach the saddle to the tether and to the bridge, these are Bowline knots. And the reason why I've chosen Bowline is A, they're very strong, but B, since I'm still kind of figuring out my tether length, my bridge length, I didn't really want to use like a water knot or something a little bit more terminal. These have plenty of strength, but they still can be, when I'm taking all my weight off them, I can still work them loose and shorten this or lengthen it and cinch it back up. It's not a terminating loop, so it does stay fixed and a little bit open. It's not a big loop, but it does allow me to fiddle with it so that way I can get more comfortable on stand. These little Prusiks here that run up and down the side, these are for a back band. I would have two little carabiners. I have a kidney belt that I took from a surplus pack that I had, a military surplus pack, and that'll allow me to lean back and get a little bit more back support if I'm sitting in the tree for a long period of time. The main safety feature, of course, is a rock climbing harness. You do not want to do this with just the sit drag. It's not meant to be, and it's totally been warned to be not used in an aerial setup. You need to be using it on the ground. So you have to have a rock climbing harness, which becomes your safety harness, as well as the ability to connect your lineman's belt. My lineman's belt is the same system. It's still 11mm static cord. I did add a Ropeman 1 into the system. It really is faster than a Prusik. It's a little bit pricey, but I'll tell you what, even from the few times I've been able to use it so far this summer, it has been a godsend. So I'm really excited that I have that piece in the arsenal. The particular rock harness that I'm using is a Black Diamond Alpine, not the Black Diamond Alpine Bot. I chose the Alpine because it has a belay loop already integrated into the system. The Bod, you have to bring up the leg straps and clip into the main belt. I didn't want to mess with that. I like the belay loop being there 24/7, 365. It's always there and always available for me to be tethered to the tree. So I didn't want to add that extra carabiner, clip a carabiner into a carabiner. For rock climbing, it doesn't matter. We're not worried about noise, but for those of us that are trying to climb a tree in the dark and not spook some deer, having that nice cloth webbed belay loop really deadens everything and makes it nice and easy in the tree. The accessory strap that I'm using for this time around, completely public land legal, is from HME. I did steal the idea from Jonathan from Catman Outdoors. Has a couple of hooks on it so I can get my backpack when I'm ready to be fully set up, my bow, my quiver, everything can be attached to the tree and I can be ready for the hunt. So finally, why did I choose to add a saddle to my system this year? Did I feel just like following the fad? Well, kind of, but not really. I've started at the ripe old age of 28 to start developing some really bad back problems. I've herniated 2 discs just in the year 2019 alone, right in my lumbar. And so sitting for long periods of time, whether it's in a chair, a couch, a recliner, it gets really painful on my lower back. And even with a rolled up towel back there for a little bit of lumbar support, it's not still a perfect system. So I stand a lot. And so standing on a stand is fine, but you still want to be able to take the load off without adding pressure onto my lower back. So I thought maybe I could give saddle a try. Using a saddle allows me to lean away from the tree, and with the addition of this back band, I can put that lumbar support in and bring in that curvature of my spine, allowing my discs to be a little bit more relaxed. This has been completely painless for me. Usually sitting down, if I was doing this filming right now for 30 minutes to an hour, I would already need to stand up. Even 30 minutes is a little bit long in some cases. So when I'm just able to sit here, I can kind of swing around, I can relax, I can put my knees into the tree and kind of sit with my back arched, or I can come all the way and stand up and lean out and away from the tree. Either way, I'm very comfortable. Lastly, I'm really a fidgeter. Like, I cannot sit still, and that's my problem, I know that. But sitting in a tree stand, my legs would sit there and balance. I'd always be wiggling my feet. I have to stand up and sit down. Being in a saddle, I can always kind of have a little bit of movement. I don't need a whole bunch of movement, but the ability to sway, I can move in. If I really need to, I can sit all the way down and bring my legs around the tree if it's thin enough in diameter. It just allows me a whole bunch of different seated and standing and leaning positions that will keep me secure to the tree, but also allow me the maximal level of comfort and allow me to get out the wiggles. My sticks for getting up the tree have not changed. They're still the API Outdoors hunting sticks, which you can't really find anymore these days. They're sold from Bass Pro and Cabela's, but they always seem to be out of stock. They're aluminum sticks, and I added the Versa buttons to them to do the Lone Wolf rope mod. If you want to know more about that video, I will put a link in the description below. You can go over to my hang and hunt setup I did last year with my XOP. The platform system that I chose was not like a tethered platform or an arrow hunter platform or a ring of steps. I chose to go with the Wild Edge style steps. Now, these are not Wild Edge steps. As you know, as I've said many to other my videos, I'm on a budget. I'm a teacher, I don't make too much money, and I wanted to try something like the Wild Edge, but I wasn't really ready to fork over the money. So I found something on Amazon made by Primal Tree Stands. It's their Primal V step. It works exactly in the same premise as a Wild Edge. Now, if you go to the reviews, and I'm a big guy, they do say that they're not as durable. They might bend if you start camming them over too hard and putting a lot of weight on them. I weigh about 210, I'm 6'4". I've cammed them over pretty hard. I haven't had any bending so far, but we'll see as we go throughout the season. So that's all for this video. If you have any questions about my saddle setup or how I'm gonna hunt with it this fall, please do follow the links in the description below. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, my email's down there, and of course you can always leave a comment here on YouTube. Hope you're able to get outside, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.